Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the last replay commentary we are doing for Blueshift. After this, we will be transitioning into Let's Plays for the rest of the series. And as you may remember from the last part, we left Scientist Hell, and we are now in actual Hell. Like, this is literally Hell. This is where all of the monsters that have been dicking me over left and right came from. And now we're having to go through what I can only assume are headcrab breeding tunnels. Because with how much they love ventilation ducts, like, this seems like this would be their MO. We managed to make it out of the first tunnel unscathed. To find more of the weird whippy blade trees. I feel like I remember getting hit by one at one point and taking a decent chunk of health. And yep, here's the headcrabs. We knew it was coming. Now let's be honest, we knew it was coming. And see, look at this asshole. And like, I bet you that there's not even like a way to go. Oh, okay, there was a way to go up there, but at the same time. Oh, see, this was the dead end, and they gotta cram one more head crab down in there. Gave me some ammo, but still, ammo with a head crab is not as good as just ammo. More creepy tunnels, more head crabs. This one we managed to get the drop on. I don't know if we just like perfectly blinded him with our flashlight. But yeah, he didn't do the typical computer reflex dive. More whippy blade trees. More secret tunnels leading in all directions. We showed him what for with the shotgun. We're left with two paths. And now for our favorite thing, murky water. You can see me hesitating for a second because I really don't like the look of this, especially with the bottomless pit. You see, I almost got scooped up by a barnacle there. That would have really sucked. I don't know why I didn't think that these guys would be here. Though that does pose a good question. I gotta wonder, when all these enemies are teleporting into the Black Mesa facility, like, do these things just teleport onto the ceiling, or, like, do they walk up onto the ceiling? Like, that would be interesting to see and find out. It's just a barnacle climbing a wall. Because, I mean, they're just always there when you show up. It's not like the Vortigons where you watch them teleport in and laser one of the other Barneys. And here we got a jumping puzzle, so we're probably, I'm gonna guess, probably 3 to 5 deaths. Number 1. Some games I'm good at jumping, some games I'm just god-awful. Like, for some reason, Halo, back in the, Halo 3, like, I did a ton of custom games, and one of the ones that was always kind of fun, they had like these weird, I don't know, it was like challenge maps where like you had to do like certain kind of jump, like grenade jumps, you had to do crouch jumps, you name it really. Jumps where you had to land on like a single upturned like flagpole, like just the most ridiculous crap you've ever seen in your life. As you can see, they kind of cheated us there. I was doing good on my jumping puzzle, and then I ran straight into a portal. You'd think if I would jump into a Vortigon portal, like, I would just end up wherever they're leaving? But no, we're not that lucky. They actually just kind of kill the crap out of us. And there's that giant manta ray in the sky. God only knows what that's going to do for us. Nothing good. Of that, you can be assured. Managed to get off a good crouch jump. We're doing great. What do you know? We pulled it off. More Sonic puppies. I have to say, of all the enemies that you do fight, these are probably the least terrifying. It might be just the low res, but like they just don't have like crazy claws, and they don't vomit acid at you. They just kind of walk up, make a cute sound, and explode, but not explode. I don't know. Send out sonic waves or something, I'm assuming. I haven't read into the deep lore. I've just played all of the games. I don't know, I have this feeling it's probably like crazy in-depth and super hard to follow, like the Metal Gear Solid series. Holy God, the first time I played through those. That wasn't even like a failed jump attempt, that was just me walking off the edge like a moron. But yeah, to anybody that hasn't played the Metal Gear Solid series, like, that whole series is just twists and turns and just, you never really know who's actually behind what's going on at the moment, because there's always some, like, bad guy pulling the strings. It's kind of like this game. It totally reminds me of the dickbag in the suit that always shows up. And now we're finally gonna figure out. Oh my God, I forgot about this. Yeah, this guy totally just flies around and destroys chunks of stuff that I'm supposed to stand on. As you can see here, he actually made this jump impossible because he destroyed the platform I needed. So this time, we're going to take the no-nonsense approach. We'll leave the Vortigons to their island and fail a jump and die horribly. I promise you, I do eventually get through this. And it wasn't quick enough. You can see my character has gone into a mad frenzy. He's tired of being blasted off of platforms. We barely made it there. Luckily, we find a portal and a ton of ammo. As upset as we were about how many tries that took, we decided we would pick off the Vortigons from afar. I mean, to be fair, I think the Manta Ray was actually going to do all the work for us. But we did get like a jillion rounds. Oh my God, I've totally forgot. It brings you back here. Now, luckily, I'm pretty sure the Manta Ray knocked us down, making it possible to get through here. I do like how you're finding all these, I mean, a lot of times in Half-Life, you know, you're breaking through vents and traveling through the ventilation ducts, so I did think it was kind of cool that they replaced those with kind of a, it almost reminds me of the Alien movies, how they would just make how they would just cover walls in like that organic material. You can see I'm already getting shot because somebody can't wait for me to climb out of the hole. Luckily, we can introduce him to the 12 gauge. Makes short work of him. So those guys, like, they talk a lot of crap, but they're pretty easy to take out. More shit water. You can see I'm trying to figure out what's going on down there before I dive headlong in. Fed up as we are, we've decided to resort to the RPG launcher. And for those of you who are not familiar, RPG, like, I love that analogy, is rocket-propelled grenade. Like, it captures the beauty of it. I really feel that it does. You can see me trying to figure out how this giant fleshy trampoline works. Honestly, it's a little bit horrifying. Barnacles everywhere. I do love, though, in Half-Life 2 there was a fun part. You get to, like, there was a part where there's like 6 barnacles blocking your path, and there's a, if you're clever and you want to use the environment, there's an explosive crate that you can actually, or an explosive barrel you can actually roll down the, down like this hill. It'll go into one of the barnacle tongues or whatever you want to call it, and it'll actually pick it up so that you can kill all of them with one shot. I really love environmental stuff where you can kind of use stuff around you to your advantage in fights. There's been a lot of games that did really well at that. You see here, I totally did not realize I was coming right back into the same area at first. But as soon as I got over here, I realized where my folly had been. I have to say, though, this was a really nice, well put together area. I mean, you got little light crystals kind of giving you a cool way to light up areas so that it's not like just insanely black, but at the same time, like, it still has that organic feel that this whole environment has put together. I mean, look at these walls. Just, I mean, it could be some weird kind of like rock or mineral or something, but at the same time, it also does look very much like it could also be an organic material. I always love hive mind type stuff because it just provokes a lot of really like interesting questions on like how they would communicate. Because like imagine something like this where like if this whole environment was organic, it would be kind of cool if like you walking around, it can sense where you are and could like warn creatures that you're coming. I mean, obviously that would suck for you as the player because everything knows that where you are. But at the same time, like that's kind of a cool concept. Just like the environment that you live in being able to talk to you and let you know when intruders are around. Kind of help defending the creatures of its ecosystem, if you will. An aggressively protective environment. It'd be interesting to see. As you can see, here's the one that actually stabbed me. We went ahead and pissed him off a little bit with some rounds. At first, wasn't quite sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. Like I said, this was my first playthrough of the game, but I mean, this definitely looks like somebody has been here and set up shop. So you gotta wonder if like there's like some other alien species with similar technology to us, or like. I mean, well, actually, we're seeing guys in HEV suits. So, but like, I always was kind of under the impression in Half-Life that like you were firing the portal device for the first time. So this makes you wonder, at least makes me wonder, and it might be painfully obvious and I've just missed it somewhere along the way. But who was here setting all this up? Was it Black Mesa and they were just trying to make like another machine to get here that screwed up, or is this some other organization that was doing portal technology at the time? Because there's no doubt about it, like this is definitely human equipment. We've definitely seen guys laying around dead with HEV suits. This was kind of a cool little thing. I mean, I wouldn't call it a puzzle. It was easy to figure out, but it was kind of cool that like you're calibrating these rings so that you can fire this thing off. You've seen it done on like bigger scales since then with other games, but at the same time, like this really takes you back to like how much they were actually doing with the Half-Life games at the time that they were making them. Here we're just trying to rocket everything in sight because we are just done. We managed to miss. Luckily, we got our trusty Magnum. And those two guys that you just saw floating around, that, if I remember right, was the final boss in the first Half-Life game. Because you come into this chamber, there's a bunch of crystals, I think, and one of those, and you've got to, like, if I remember right, you got to, like, shoot the crystals to, it either weakens it or it pisses it off or something. I thought this was kind of cool too, like just the floor dropping down on him. gives you a way up too. It's kind of fun. More head crabs, and a rather evasive one at that. Scouting ahead before the drop, that's always nice. Whoo! Oh, that was a close one. I like his style, though. I like his style. It totally reminds me of the face huggers in the Alien games. Like, I played Alien Colonial Marines a bunch. I don't remember if I actually finished that campaign, because I was just... Like, it was one of those games where I was excited about the single player, but as soon as I played the multiplayer, I just got so obsessed with it that I ended up at one point just not going back. But yeah, like if you never played, the multiplayer for that was really cool. Like the aliens and the humans both had a lot of really cool, unique things that they could do. I noticed too in the I've watched part of a playthrough on the Alien Isolation game. I have the Alien Isolation game. I will be doing a playthrough on it at some point. I've been kind of holding off on doing it until I got a better headset. But it's another one of those ones where, like, yeah, like there's areas where you're just walking around and you think everything's cool, and then just face huggers just like instantly latch onto your face and it's game over. You're like, oh, well, great! Now I have to check every nook and cranny as I walk through this place. Like this is a nightmare. Wonderful. Just like this head crab here. Like I promise you that they only put that rock there so that they could hide a head crab behind it. And I understand it, but at the same time, like, you dicks. Whew. Now we got people coming. Wow, that one hurt. So I think we took fall damage and a lightning bolt. We can see we're back to the area where we started, and there's now what looks like an exit portal, but we also have to make sure that we don't die on our way to the exit portal. And for those of you that didn't notice earlier, that guy right there with the armor, he's got a like tracking hornet gun. It will find the thing. Whoo, 2 health. I ate a lightning bolt right before I made it through. Luckily, we made it. Yeah, and now yeah, don't send me back. Do not send me back. This guy was just an asshole. Like I come back, almost dead. And he's just, you know, working away at his computer. Doesn't have a health kit waiting for me or anything. He just assumed everything was going to go fine. And here's just me hoping to God that he doesn't turn the machine back on. And I managed to get trapped behind him in the corner. I was worried that he was about to do experiments on me. But luckily, he goes and he opens the door. If you remember from earlier, there's supposed to be... Or, I mean, there's a health station on the wall. The only question is the door open? And luckily it was. Only thing that saved me from having to, like, reload a game and redo that last part again. You can see this was... At the time, I still hadn't figured out why the HEV machine wasn't working. See, I don't even wait for this guy. I don't know if he was trying to get on this elevator, but I was not concerned about that. After the crap he had just put me through, I was not dealing with it. Throw in a quick save, because we don't want to have to deal with respawning back in hell. Like some reoccurring Groundhog Day nightmare. When the level's called Power Struggle, I mean, that kind of gives you a heads up that... Yeah. And who's the power struggle? It's clearly not the people that are supposed to be in charge of the facility. It's the 2 sets of invaders that we're dealing with. That's right, aliens aren't bad enough. We also got these asshole SWAT teams with Apache helicopters and like dickbag sentry guns running around making things even worse for us. We hear somebody getting hurt. We're trying to figure out where it was. Here we get to watch other Barney and scientists get massacred by a single Vortigaunt. I've killed Vortigants with that same pistol. Other Barney just needs to man up. Find himself a spirit animal. Nowhere to go up here, so we're gonna go back down and check it out. Or at least I remember I tried a bunch of stuff here and got kind of lost for a minute, and it ended up being way easier than I thought it was. Now I'm scared to jump down because the elevator obviously is not working. No luck. But as soon as we go over and check this door, suddenly someone starts welding through it. That's right, I remember now. Yeah, we got done fighting a couple aliens and watching aliens bust through the other room, and now we got to deal with these guys again. Luckily, though, we are kitted out with a crap load of grenades, and this is about to be really bad for them. We're going to show them why. Whoo! And luckily for us, there was even an explosive container to make it that much more gory. I mean, oh my god, yeah. We're happy with that one. I'm gonna smash his metallic skull with a crowbar a couple times. Of course they got backup. It's just never that easy. But we did finally get satchel charges, which is another one of my favorite Half-Life weapons. Because one thing that was always fun, Half-Life multiplayer, there was this one map I remember I always did it on a lot. It was the bunker map where you could blow up the entire map from inside the bunker like every, I want to say like 5 minutes. It had a pretty long cooldown, but at the same time it did happen a couple of times per map. So I wanted to say like 5 minutes. But yeah, another thing, so there was tons of like right outside the bunker, like there was this huge like compound of like buildings. There was a lot of different areas with like damn near every gun in the game you could find somewhere on that map. But there was lots of ladders that like led up to areas. So one thing that was super fun is you'd be like upstairs with the crossbow, like sniping people out a window, and you'd hear a firefight like down below. So you'd walk over the ladder, you'd throw a satchel charge down the ladder, and just get like a double kill because two guys are fighting over who gets to come up and kill you, and then you get to kill both of them because they're dicking around. Though campaign is going to be a little bit harder to set up satchel charge kills, I'd imagine. Because usually you're walking into a room of enemies that are already fortified and ready, as opposed to luring people into traps. This was a dick move. Have an elevator with a sentry gun right at the top. Like, who does that? Now we find ourselves back out in this area where we were before. Check to see if anything's going on in there. Can't see anything, so we're gonna head back down. Now we gotta figure out what the hell's going on out here. A button that presumably controls the entire bridge. Guy up above tossing grenades down like a butthole. Luckily, though, they've just been feeding me assault rifle grenades, so I'm just gonna go ham with these things. Like, playtime's over, guys. You have officially tried my patience. More shotgun rounds. I promise you a couple of these guys are gonna get to regret leaving those behind. I love whatever this device is behind him. I'm assuming that's some kind of like radio, like long distance radio, but it just looks really, really fancy for this game. Elevator's not working. It's unfortunate. They never make it easy. Immediately, as soon as I see an explosive thing, I go straight for it, of course. Remember, this This was an interesting little thing that took me a second to figure out, and like this is one of the things I loved about the Half-Life games, is they had like they didn't give you a whole lot of direction. Like don't get me wrong, I loved Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge was probably one of my favorite games ever, but at the same time, like I mean, I know you could pick. There was a difficulty where they turned it off. But at the same time, I know on a lot of the lower difficulties, it would highlight the area, like the things that you were supposed to jump off and like the things you were supposed to do. And I wanted the difficulty with that off, where I didn't take like a massive amount, like just stupid bullet damage every time I got in a fight. So like I kind of felt like there wasn't as much of a happy medium there as I would have wanted. But like this is the kind of stuff I like about Half-Life. Like they don't give you direction. This is the area you're in, you gotta try to figure out what the hell you're doing. Like, you see me back up here, I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Looking back, it was actually really cool how they did this part. But, yeah, without the direction, like, it does sometimes leave you wandering around for a minute trying to figure out what you're meant to be doing. I remember there was a Star Wars game, some of you might remember, called Dark Forces. I'm talking about the first Dark Forces. I played that game when I was probably, I want to say like 8 to 10 maybe. Maybe a little bit younger than that. I don't remember which computer I played on is the only problem. If I remember which computer I played it on, I would remember. But, yeah, the thing about the game, like, there was no direction, and at the same time, like, some of the levels were just really confusing. I mean, it made sense, like, you're in this giant, like, fortified enemy compound, and, like, you don't know, like, you've never been here, you don't know what's going on with it, but at the same time, like, I do remember at least twice in that game where I got so lost that, like, I stopped playing for a couple months, because I just was, like, I just got frustrated as hell, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. You can see here, I'm gonna... Oftentimes... So there's two consistencies of liquid in Half-Life. There's liquid that kills you instantly, and then there's liquid that you can kind of swim around in. And we found out quickly that this was the stuff that kills you instantly. But now we know. I think here's where I finally figure it out. Because it's clear that this is the door they want us to go through. It's clear that they put this explosive... I mean, because think about it, the fuse box was operational. So I was kind of wondering if maybe I could trigger the C4 with my detonator. Unfortunately, that didn't work. But like, I knew that it had to be something with this door because they wouldn't make that thing clickable if there wasn't something cool going on with it. So then I started wondering like how I'm supposed to connect it. I was looking at these barrels out here, and I don't know why like it took me so long to figure this out. But then I came back in here, looking at this thing for a second. Oh, okay, this is more embarrassing than I remember. I do figure it out. I promise, I do figure it out. See, I know it's that thing. I'm trying to figure out if I can move this thing. Clearly, I need to connect these wires, but how do I do it? How do I do it? You can see I'm just frustrated now shooting the door with everything I have. And then, oh, look, what's this? They gave me a barrel. Oh, yeah, okay, I thought it was an explosive barrel at first. Yeah. I literally went through, like, every answer but the right answer. But that's, I mean, that's elementary problem solving, guys. Sometimes that's what it takes. And then because, like, the weird... Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, and I remember luckily, the creators of Half-Life thought ahead, and they knew that there were going to be morons like me playing this. Because, as you can see, my first instinct was to throw the barrel I needed into this waters in some vain attempt to make, like, some amazing crouch jump that never would have happened across this gap. Luckily, they were smart enough to make this bridge unpassable for it. Because I promise you, I would have done it. I would have completely sabotaged this and probably spent like 2 hours before I finally got frustrated and looked up the answer online. But luckily, Our thinking cap came through for us. We weren't able to push it over the wire, which gave me an idea. And holy crap. And see, I'm sad that it took me that long to figure it out, but that is one of the cool, like, think about it, like, that's one of the coolest puzzles ever. Like, they have these explosives already set up. You've got a wire that's been destroyed, and you've got to try to figure out how to make this happen. I bet you there's people that saw and instantly figured it out. But I appreciate, because it's so much more rewarding when you actually do realize that, like, holy crap, this was a really cool way to do this. And now we've got a million head crabs, like, raining down off of this ledge, as is Half-Life tradition. There's one more. We're trying to, like, joust him out here. Managed to get a nice shot off. Almost like a Jet Li, like, jumping shot, but with far less style and, like, finesse, you could say. And now we can screw around with the coolant system. And now, suddenly, my barrel dream looks a lot more plausible. As you can see, the power is not on for this elevator. Oh. Oh, no, this is the one that takes us down there. That's right. Throwing a quick save. You never know what they're going to throw at us. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. And like I said, next time we will be coming back with the Let's Plays. I look forward to doing it.